Hey there, I hope you're doing well and you're staying warm. So, one of the things we do at Snowpal is we do many things, and one of the things we do is building APIs, creating APIs, and making them available for other people to consume, right? So, the idea is you leverage the APIs. We have many of them. You leverage them either independently, one at a time, or a combination of those, or all of them, right? It doesn't really matter to us. You pick the ones that make the most sense to you, and you build your systems out in real quick time. And how you can do the integration, there's a design pattern, but you can certainly digress and deviate outside the design pattern because it's very flexible and customizable. So you can use it. Your dev team is going to be able to make a judgment in a couple of hours of actually being exposed to those APIs, and they would know best, your dev team or your product management team. Now, we're going to, like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, we're going to create more content to help you understand how you can actually do a lot of this integration. But I stumbled into something recently where I noticed that there's a software company, quote unquote software company, because they're, I guess you could call them, I don't know, a tech company, let's say, right? Generically. They built a solution, and I was using something else, and I realized that it looked quite identical. So it's not coincidental. It was so identical that it's not something that somebody mimicked, but they were actually leveraging that exact same product and offering. So it was kind of interesting because I had not expected that company would have actually tried to potentially, right? I'm speculating here because I have no idea, but I have a hunch, and I think it may not be wrong. So I noticed that they created the solution, and then this other company was integrating that in a very interesting manner, which is literally what our pitch is, right? You should not be building what you do not have to be building because it's going to be a complete waste of time, energy, resources, money, and whatnot. You should focus your energy and your team's energies on building, solving those unique problems that you're starting out to solve for your customers, right? Your core business problems. Everything else that's reasonably generic, you should actually not reinvent the wheel and leverage companies that actually are able to provide those solutions, and they're readily available to you. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying we're the only ones, but I looked and I'm not sure how many others there are out there. I'm sure there are, but I just don't know. We couldn't find any, at least not one that has the breadth of what we have to offer. If you don't agree, check it out and let me know. Let us know if you think otherwise, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have, right? So, uh, the reason I created this, I'm doing this video is because just a heads up to the podcast that's coming up. Perhaps we'll publish that in the next day or so. We haven't even created the podcast, but we're going to take those tools and sort of poke into them and share our 2 cents and draw parallels to why you might also benefit from actually not rebuilding solutions that are out there and being able to leverage and integrate our existing offerings, right? It's just I'm not trying to state the obvious here, if you will. I'm just trying to share that I saw something recently and that resonated with me immediately because that's exactly the type of problem we are solving as well, in a slightly different way, but there's lots of similarities, if you will, right? So I just want to say that there's going to be a podcast coming up, and I think it's going to be very interesting, even if I'm saying so myself. A lot of our podcasts, we just hop on it, click record, and hit the ground running. I mean, we don't prepare necessarily because the idea is to socialize what we know and what we don't know very honestly with you and learn with you as somebody who's watching these podcasts and sessions. That's about it. Hope you have a nice week. Thanks.